gas, you will have only one stage of compression. The one stage of compression will allow you here to use it for the low pressure fuel. If you are going to have an additional stage of the compression station, you will use it for high pressure fuel. The third stage, will allow you to use it for sale. So that will be what we can have from this scheme. Low pressure fuel gas, high pressure fuel gas, and the third one, feedstock for the sales. So, do you have any kind of case studies? Yes, we are having some kind of case studies. This is our first case study, which has been done by Petrojet team. It's a well stream, which is having oil and gas and water as well. The total amount, I choose the mass unit because it's a mass balance, is approximately 2299 kilogram per hour of 1,466 kilogram per hour of oil and 800 kilogram per hour of gas and 26.44 kilogram of water. This would be directed to the compression station. But firstly, we have to check for the composition of the gas itself. We are not having any H2S. This is the good news, first good news. And also we are having some kind of methane, quite good methane, more than 400 kilogram mole per hour, more than 700 kilogram per hour of methane as well. And also we are having some kind of nitrogen, CO2, which will allow our heating value to be within the normal range. And these are the compositions of the heavy components. So firstly, we go to this gas. We can point it out to be sweet associated gas. We are having the inlet compression station, we are having the LRC, and then we are having the aftercooler. Then we have the low pressure separator, and then we are having our recovered gas. The recovered gas is having these conditions: 33 Celsius, 5 bar gauges, and more than 700 of kilogram per hour of mass. It does have this composition, more than 300 kilogram per hour of methane, C1. So that would be our first approach, first case. What if we would like to use this gas as a low pressure, as I've reminded you, or to have it for the low pressure fuel gas? Because we have mentioned at the beginning of our presentation that we can use it for having a one stage as a low pressure fuel gas. So we need to upgrade this scheme to be a power generation, gas power generation. The same amounts are directed to the inlet separator and then a filtration. We have a filtration for the gas. Then we have to raise the temperature up. Then we have to have gas scrubber to have any liquids form it. Then we raise the pressure up. And then we're having the gas for the gas generator. The temperature is approximately 73 Celsius, 4 bar gauges, more than 700 kilogram per hour of gas, and 74% of C1. So, and the other stream can be used for the gas utilities as well, because you are directing the liquids to the closed drain. Instead of flaring them, you can have them for the gas utilities in the site. But sometimes the operation team come to us and tell us that we are not having any time, no cost, even no space at the site for this scheme. This would be some kind of a challenging clients for us. So what can we do? We having nothing is called impossible. So we would upgrade this to have direct all the production instead of doing something to the nearest facility without any kind of separation. We will have the production of the well immediately to the nearest facility. This is called the multi-phase bomb, and this will be our second approach of the flare recovery. The same amount of well stream will be directed to the multi-phase bomb. The multi-phase bomb is simulated on the simulator. The HISIS or the Unison, any process engine will be familiar, as inlet separator, compressor and a pump, and then it is combined to the nearest pipeline. In reality, it exists, it's brought to the site as a skid with all its accessories, separation, heating. It's a screw pump having one inlet, one outlet, and then you have your production immediately to the nearest facility to be refined, produced, whatever. So we have now covered two approaches. The first approach, we had two cases, and the second approach, we had all the production going to immediately without separation at the upstream facilities. So we need to travel down to the downstream facilities, where we are having the refineries, the factories, and the tank farm as well. We had a case study as well. The V9 stream is called V9 at an LPG factory, production factory. This V9 is having quite good conditions, 28 Celsius and 16.5 bar gauges of pressure. The composition is also promising. It does have some quite good propane. Please mention that or remember that. It does have quite good propane. So normally we will have a vapor recovery unit, which we are going to use the liquid ring compressor as well to have the gas from the tank or the V9 directed to compression station, liquid ring compressor, and then having it with these conditions. And that's it. This is a flare recovery for it. That's what we can do. 25 Celsius, 10 bar gauges, and more than 85,000 kilogram per hour of gas. But if you remember, it does have quite good amount of propane. So instead of just giving the factory this amount of gas and leaving them, we have checked this amount of propane, and we have upgraded the scheme to be our third approach, which is skid of C3 recovery. This skid is brought to the site mobile. It does have 3 columns. The column trays from 5 to 8. The first one is absorption column. The second one is de-ethanizer, and the third is de-propanizer. This column was able to produce C1, 67% of C1 methane, more than 3,000 kilogram per hour. It was able also to produce C2, 93%, approximately 300 kilogram per hour, and 94.7% of C3 liquid propane was produced, more than 1,500 kilogram per hour of C3. So, in conclusion, we have asked ourselves, what is the first thing that comes to our mind when we see a flare? We had Zohr field as a case study. The profits are up. You have told me that whenever you see a flare, you think about the pollution and emissions and these things, but I've told you that it could be a sign of a new discovery, and we had the profits up, as we have mentioned for Zohr field as well. In Egypt, unfortunately, we are flaring more than 200 million scf per day. We are wasting $250 million, which would be covering 5% of our needs if we covered. So we went through a series to define the challenge. We know what is flare. We know now why we are flaring, and we had the solutions. In series, we had the first approach, liquid ring compressor. We had the first case, which was an EBF. We had the second case of the first approach, gas power generation. The second approach itself was the multi-phase pump. And then we had the third approach, which was downstream. It was a C3 recovery skid, mobile skid. So that, to remind you, that was the first scheme. The second scheme, the multi-phase pump, and this, the third scheme. I would like to acknowledge all the support of His Excellency, Engineer Tariq Al-Mullah, the Minister of the Egyptian Petroleum Resources, and also the support of Petrojet company and His Excellency, Engineer Walid Lotfi, the Chairman, everyone who supported us from my colleagues and other companies, and thank you so much for this great presentation, and I'm happy to have your questions.
Thank you. Mohammed, do we have any questions at all?
Are you sharing with us the presentation?
Yes.
Can you do that, please?
Yes, if you're ready, you have it. Yes. Of course, yes.
I will also have to introduce you after the presentation as well.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? No? Well, thank you very much
So
indeed.
I will be so happy